Hello, it's Numerologist Glynis McCants. So last week I did the intensity numbers on my Facebook page. It was a Facebook Live, and what I noticed is a lot of people had the same intensity number. It was the number 5, which makes sense because the 5 is always digging for information, and they like the celebration of life and having fun. And of course, numerology goes hand in hand with that. But what I wanted to do tonight is teach you all 9 intensity numbers so that you can apply it not only to your name, but anyone you meet. The whole point is sometimes you don't have someone's birthday, which is the most revealing. There's 3 numbers in the name that tell you a lot. But let's say you just have a first and last name and you want to get some insights. The intensity number can help you with that. All right. So how do you get it? Well, for starters, you need to use the Pythagorean number system. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. I did pull up a little creation here, took the picture. Here we go. Boom. You see that? You should write that down. All it means is that each letter has a number connected to it in its Pythagorean number system. So 1 has AJS, 2 BKT, 3 CLU, 4 DMV, 5 ENW, 6 FOX, 7 GPY, 8 HQZ, 9 IR. Okay, so each letter has a number. Now we're going to start playing this numbers game. We're going to look at some of the people who sent me their name. Like I said, hey guys, if you want me to use your name as an example, just give it to me on Facebook. And you guys are so darling. Over, over 200 people did. And I appreciate that. But I'm going to pull the ones that I can use for tonight. Okay. And again, I noticed there were some that didn't come up, and I'll explain that later. But I'm going to define it so in case the intensity number that I don't have as a name example applies to you. Okay. So let's go with the number 1 first. And the person I used, I created a banner with their name so you could just easily see it. And that would be, her name was Tina. There you go. Tina Rasmussen. She's my 1 intensity example. So let's break it down. Remember, you got that number system I just showed you. So T is 2, I is 9, N is 5, A is 1, R is 9. A is 1, S is 1, M is 4, U is 3, S is 1, S is 1, E is 5, N is 5. So, of course, I just love that name for starters, Tina. What a great name. But I went through it and I thought, okay, what does she have? Now, an intensity numbers means it literally is the most in that name. So I went through the name, looking at all the numbers, and I noticed she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She has 5 1s in the name. Okay, what does that tell me about her? Whew, this girl has energy. Okay, when something's on her mind, she's got to get on it. She gets busy. She's got a bunch of thoughts. She's a multitasker. If somebody's lazy in her life, she can't stand it. It's like, do something. You don't want to just sit around, Tina, and not accomplish anything. It's going to annoy her. But it also means striving to be her best self. Like Tina can be very hard on herself. Now, remember, I'm only learning this from her name. I don't have her birth date. I don't have her numerology blueprint, but it's telling me something about her. And I would definitely make a note of that if I met Tina, right? I'd know, okay, this gal has high energy. And if I want to present something, she doesn't have a lot of time, may not have a lot of patience. She can get bored easily. So I need to lay out my thoughts so she can understand me. All right. And then I wanted to show you a B example. So I've got Betty. She said she pronounced it Betty. So Betty Castor. So let's break it down. B is 2. E is 5. T is 2. T is 2. E is 5. Castor. K is 2. A is 1. S is 1. T is 2. E is 5. R is 9. Okay, so we're going through that. And of course, the number that pops up the most is the number 2 for that name. Let's see how many times does it show up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. 5 times. So what does that tell us about Betty? It tells us that she has the gift of intuition. She is sensitive. So let's say her birth numbers are completely different than this. What this intensity number gives you a little insight. You know, if you're thoughtful, if this Betty is someone you're interested in to date, you got to be affectionate. You know, the 2 appreciates that. They have a stressful day, nice massage, make them feel better, goes a long way with this 2 energy. But it also means she picks up the truth. So if you're being dishonest, you're wasting your time. Be careful with that, with the 2 energy. And just remember, like I said, if you're going to get in a fight with them, even if they're defensive and they fight you back, it's going to burn Betty out. So try to find the kind words, the thoughtful words around the 2 energy, much better. And again, she might have birth numbers completely different than that number 2, but you have a heads up from the intensity number. And remember, how did I do that? I simply used the wonderful chart, my Pythagoras chart. I'll pop it up again. There it is. Each letter has a number, and that's all I'm doing. Getting insight on people without knowing their name. Excuse me, I live in the Twilight Zone. Without knowing their birthday. It's all about the name, isn't it? Okay, so that was a good example. And then I had who? Number 3. I decided with number 3, I was going to actually just use my name because there's something to that I really liked. I know I actually created a banner. Here we go. Glynis McCants. 3 example. Here's the deal. Ready? G is 7. L is 3. Y is 7. N is 5. I is 9. S is 1. M is 4. C is 3. C is 3. A is 1. N is 5. T is 2, S is 1. So when you break that down, my intensity number, the one I have more than the others, is the number 3. Okay? Okay, so it's the number 3. It's coming from the L. It's coming from the C and the C. Double 3. Now, what does that mean? Well, for starters, sense of humor, communication. Now, technically, when you look at my birth date, I actually am born on a 3 day. I'm a 3 life path. So the 3 is a big part of who I am. So if you didn't know my birthday, picking up just that 3 intensity would tell you, okay, this gal has a sense of humor. This woman feels called to communicate. And remember, what does the 3 do mostly? Natural counselor. Giving advice is easy for the energy. If you're not a communicator or you don't like to say what's on your mind or what you're feeling, you don't necessarily want to deal with 3 intensity because that is a part of who they are. But if you're looking for light energy or someone who you can engage with and communicate with, yes, the 3 intensity helps. And then humor. Humor is going to be a part of it. Laughter, playfulness, fun. All right. Now, what if this person you meet is like a 7 life path and they tend to be quiet or, they can be a loner? Doesn't matter. They've got that 3 intensity number. That ability to communicate is there for them. It's just something you have to be aware of. You can't pull it out of that energy like the 7 if they're a 7 life path, but you need to know if it's in their name, it's a part of who they are. All right. That's intensity number. Now, no one had a 4 intensity. And remember those numbers, D, M, V, have the number 4. So when you do this today, you're breaking it down, looking at your name. If you have that number 4, pay close attention to what I'm saying. The 4, this is you can never generalize in numerology. I think it's important to be more specific, but I will tell you, a 4 has a need to learn. A 4, when they do learn, they want to help you understand what they feel. A 4 can be, I call it the human turtle because sometimes they go in that shell. They don't always communicate until they're ready. And they really don't want to feel foolish, okay? But that's what I would think. When I meet someone, if they had a 4 intensity, I'd be like, okay, this person might be a little more serious, a little more reserved, but that's okay because I can cut through that and get to know them better, all right? There's an appreciation with them. They like to just know, what are the facts, right? Where does A plus B equals C come in? It matters to them. But if they don't know what they're doing and you take the time to explain it to them, they're going to appreciate it. All right. Know this also. If the intensity number is 4, they're direct. They're honest and direct. Do not take it personally. That's not their intention. They just think they're leveling with you. Okay, so that would be intensity number 4. Now, number 5, I actually had somebody in my group who volunteered their name, Renee Orton. Let's break it down. R is 9. I thought this was fun. E is 5. N is 5. E is 5. E is 5. There's a lot of 5s right there. O is 6. R is 6. T is 2. O is 6. N is 5. So how many 5s does she have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She has 5 5s. Now remember what I said. There was a lot of people on my Facebook page that had that number 5. So again, what is it? High energy, strong need to know. If there's a party or celebration, they want to be there. Of course, with what this pandemic and stuff that we're going through, that makes it a little harder, but they've got to stay busy. Their mind is always thinking way too many thoughts. So if they can find a way to relax, meditation, calm it down, it's a good idea. But if you meet someone who has a bunch of 5s, just know they're going to get bored easily. So if you're not interesting, don't expect them to fake it. They won't fake it. They'll come up with an excuse to get away from you. Okay, Renee, you're going to have to comment in comments once you see this video and let me know how true is that for you. Like, how often have you been talking to someone and they're talking at you and they're just boring, or they're trying to impress you and you're the one who feels jaded. You're like, I can't stay one more second. Then you find a way to get out. All right. But otherwise, appreciation of life. When it's a beautiful day, they notice it. If they can take a trip, great, or maybe get lost in a book, the adventure, wherever there's some fun and adventure, it's where they want to be. The shadow side, of course, is that there's a little bit of drama or chaos that comes in their life, and it's something they have to be aware of. So if you meet someone with a 5 intensity number, kind of ask them about their lives. If they're like, oh my gosh, I'm in this relationship, my boyfriend, when he gets drunk, he's really mean or he hurts me, yet they've been with the guy 20 years. Make a note of it, because it means somehow they have fallen into not just a dramatic situation, but they've gotten comfortable. And if you're someone who can't handle that, like you can't handle giving advice and someone doesn't want to take it, or you can't handle someone who's willing to stay in a situation you know is not a good idea, make a note of it when it comes to 5. But otherwise, just remember, if you're having a party, you want to have those people at the party that have a 5 intensity. All right. Number 6. The 6, again, I could not find a name example for the number 6, but what are the letters in there? FOX. That's 6 energy. So again, if you're breaking down your numbers and that you see you have the intensity number 6, just make a note of what I'm telling you. 6, very much about the family. If they have the children, they care about their children. If they run a company, they treat those employees like their children. They like to be in charge of others. They're not meant to necessarily be under somebody else. They don't want someone else telling them how to do it. The best energy when it comes to 6 is if they can run their own company. And if you are someone who has 6 intensity, yet you work for someone else, what I hope for you is they give you the credit you deserve, give you respect and leave you alone. Just say, hey, we trust you're going to do a great job. It's magnetic energy. It's strong energy. They also have a real need to fix the situation, right? They're almost at their best when it's a crisis. So crisis management is their thing. Now, if you need someone who's got the 6 intensity and yet you don't want someone to control you, or you feel like it's your way or the highway, that intensity number could be a problem. It could be someone that overpowers you. But what you got to remember, that's not their intention. The 6 really is just trying to help. But I love it. I mean, to be honest with you, I like every intensity number because you can get something good from it. And remember, what is the purpose of this? Understanding something about a person you meet without knowing anything else, their birth date, their birth certificate name, none of that stuff. Okay? Number 6. So then number 7, I know I had a good example of somebody had a 7. I think it was Peggy. Let me pull her name up. Miss Peggy, where are you, dear? I know I thought I created your banner. If I did not, I'm going to do it right now. All right, let's go ahead and create this. This would be Peggy, Peggy, and then her last name is Hodgson. Okay? So I want to click on that. There's her name, Peggy. And again, I'm going to pull up the banner while I do this. This way you can actually look at what I'm doing and follow along with the breakdown of those numbers. Here we go. See that? You got Peggy. All right. Let's do this. P is 7. E is 5. G is 7. G is 7. Y is 7. You see that? You see all those sevens? H is 8. O is 6. D is 4. G is 7. S is 1. O is 6. N is 5. Okay? So we see all of that. And what that tells us is her intensity number is the number 7. What does that tell us about her? Peggy, no matter what your numbers are, no matter how outspoken you can be, all those sevens tell me you are an observer. You pick up everything. You know, you could be in that party situation talking to one person, but you are aware of everything else that's going on around you. You know, it's a strong number. That energy, the intensity of it. If you meet someone who's got that 7 and they choose not to speak up, or it feels a little awkward because they get quiet, that's okay. It's not personal. They are kind of assessing you, observing you, and then they give input when they're ready. I will say, if you have that many 7s, Peggy, you must have a great love of nature's beauty, the ocean, the mountains, the plants, the flowers, all of that should speak to your soul. And if you were dating someone who had a bunch of 7s, I would think of a romantic place that had nature's beauty around it, like, you know, a restaurant that has a gorgeous ocean view. Again, during this time that we're going through in the wonderful year 2021, pandemic is a part of this story, but you could still go somewhere, right? You could go somewhere with that ocean view and maybe have a little picnic, social distancing, and get to know each other. So I like that. It's the other thing about that, if you are the one with all those 7s as your intensity number, work on your spirituality. You need to. I suggest always light that white candle, do your affirmations, do your meditation, just figure that part of your life out, because the problem with 7, if they don't have faith, or they become cynical, or maybe they're an atheist because someone tried to shove religion down their throat, they don't tend to be very happy with that, you know? And sometimes you'll meet someone with a 7 intensity who realize, they're like, look, nature is my God, right? I see God in the trees, in the sun, in the ocean, and that's fine. But it's about finding an answer within them that makes them happy, that makes them content. So just keep that in mind. It's a gentle, loving spirit until they feel, I don't want to say pushed against the wall, but they can say things that are very honest. They're straightforward, and sometimes it can be hurtful, and that's not the intention. And they only do that when they feel pushed to the wall. So just keep that in mind. If you meet someone with a 7 intensity, let them speak up when they're ready. Don't push for it. Give them a moment to figure it out, okay? All right. The number 8 intensity. Again, didn't see it. HQZ. I guess those are unique, but I'm sure there's somebody out there, if you broke down their name, you'd see that they do have a bunch of 8s in there, and 8 would be their intensity. What does that tell us? Lots of stuff. It tells you outspokenness for sure. You can't have all those and not be outspoken. Love of beauty, attractiveness, quality. They like nice things, walk in a home. If this person has the intensity of 8, they just appreciate stuff, right? Like they could go on a trip and just find something so beautiful that they bring home, and they love to see it again and again. But also presentation, you know, clothes. How do you look? Hair, teeth, health. And if you meet someone who has an 8 intensity, but a bunch of 8s, and they don't take care of themselves, or they don't look good, it means they are living on the shadow side, that they're not happy, that something went wrong in their life, and they're just in a bad place. So make a note of that. The other part, of course, is money, financial security. You could meet someone with 8 intensity that is about workaholic. They could easily be that, but also finding ways to make money. 2 ways that they deal with 8s. Remember, 8s and money, it's either keep it at the bank or be careful not to spend it all. Right? It's this whole thing. Their art is to learn the ebb and flow of it. Now, if you meet someone with 8 intensity and you know your numerology blueprint, and maybe 8 energy challenges you, then don't be surprised when you meet this energy. They may communicate in a way that you don't. It doesn't matter. You know, the whole beauty of what I teach and the reason I've done this, dedicated my life to the science of numbers, is to understand our differences. Because if you really understand where someone comes from, even if it's not where you come from, you feel better. They can't take the sun from your sky. They can't steal your joy because you're like, okay, we're different. But it helps to know, what if your boss, you know, you go in for an interview and you look at their name and the intensity number is 8. Well, then you need to know, you better look good. You better look, you know, performance ready. When you walk in that door for that interview, it's going to matter. And you better think twice before you speak, because they're going to really weigh whether or not you belong with the company. Okay? That's what it is. 8 is a strong energy. If it's their intensity, there's an intensity literally to them, and you will feel that. The number 9, I believe I had a 9, more than one, didn't I? Okay, let's see. I'm going to do this quickly while I'm doing this so you can see it again. Who do I want to use this time? In the meanwhile, I had, was it Lori Jones? Looks like it. Let's try Lori Jones. I'll go over to my banners and look for that name. There she is. Okay, she's my 9 example. So let's break her down. Ready? Lori Jones. L is 3. O is 6. R is 9, R is 9, I is 9. So do you see all those 9s? That's an automatic. J is 1, O is 6, N is 5, E is 5, S is 1. So she's got other numbers then, right? She's got the 1s and other numbers, but it doesn't matter because that 9 shows up and it's very prevalent. So what does that tell us about Lori, but also anyone else who has that 9 energy? 9, no matter what, it's old soul energy. You know, they've come through with some wisdom. Hopefully they have parents who applauded that, you know, appreciated that part of their character and brought it out of them, you know, try to give them, should I say the platform, the appreciation, the round of applause. You do that with 9 energy and there's nothing they can't do. And the thing is, in the natural of who they are, they tend to be givers. The 9s do go out of their way. They feel the need to give back. As a matter of fact, if they're financially successful, they're definitely one to give to charity, okay? What they need to watch out for is living in the past. Maybe they had a bad relationship and then they just don't get over it. Maybe it was a divorce and they're like, oh my gosh, my husband was horrible or my wife was horrible and I just don't want to be in a relationship again. Make a note of that, especially if this is someone you want to date. Kind of find out about their past. You know, there's a polite way to say, but you can say, hey, you know, where are your parents or whatever. Now, if they end up saying, well, my parents, I'm actually taking care of them. You know, they're not in good health. That's really common for someone who has all those 9s because they really feel responsible for the original family. But the other shot would be, I don't deal with my family at all. Now, if you meet someone who really can't stand their mother or father and they've got the 9 intensity, it's a big deal. You know, it means that they might see qualities in you that remind them of the mom or dad. Next thing you know, you are being treated like you did something wrong when you didn't, okay? So what I'm getting at is make sure they're in the moment. This person you meet with all those 9s, if they're loaded with wisdom and they're into meditation and yoga and just finding ways to be present, then that's great. You're going to really enjoy them. And if it's true for you, same idea. If you're listening to this right now, you're like, wow, Glynis, I have a 9 intensity. Well, then ask yourself, have you let go of the past? Have you found a way to be in the moment? And if not, take advantage of all the wonderful tools that are out there, not to mention self-help books. And on that note, hey, Glynis Has Your Number. That book is a standalone book, and Love by the Numbers. Love by the Numbers focuses on relationships. Glynis Has Your Number is kind of like a buffet of numerology where you just tap into everything. These are tools to help you to be happier in your life. And the other thing I have coming up, let me just click over here. I've got my banners. Oh, yes. Look at this. There's my banner. At the end of this month, January 30th, I am going to be teaching that online numerology workshop, talking about what's in store for this new year, 2021. And again, when it comes to intensity number, this is evergreen. You can refer to this video anytime you want to just kind of brush up on what it means. And you know what else? The intensity numbers are beautifully laid out in my book, Glynis Has Your Number. So that's another reason to start learning numerology and applying all of this to your life. But in the meantime, at the end of the month, I'm doing what's in store for the new year, talk about what I knew was going to happen last year in 2020 and did, and then what I see happening in this new year energy of 5. It's a big deal. And then I'll talk about personal year cycles, what you should focus on so that you can hit the ground running for this new year and really, really accomplish a lot. So many people feel like they just lost a year. They're like, did I even age 1 year? Is it even fair to say that I'm a year older when I got stuck in the house last year and didn't get to go anywhere? And I totally understand that. But I am suggesting you can get a lot out of this year, 2021, and I want to help you do it. So visit numberslady.com, www.numberslady.com, and sign up for the workshop, and I'll catch you at the end of the month. And again, this was a lot of information. Go ahead and go to the beginning of this and walk through those intensity numbers again. And as for those of you who volunteered your name today on my Facebook page, thank you for doing that. And if you want to sign up and follow me on Facebook or my Twitter, just go to numberslady.com. You'll see the link for both. Click on them, and I'll see you there too.